Individual Thought Patterns was one of my absolute favorite death albums ever, of all time. The album came out in 1993 and the artwork is very weird. It's almost like the same type of artwork as Human in a way, where it's shown like the human brain with like the top of the like spinal structure coming up above like the earth, and then there's like some weird shit blasting out from it. Now Chuck decided to man up and get a badass studio lineup for this one. Andy LaRocque, the fantastic lead guitarist of King Diamond, one of my favorite lead guitarists ever because his tone and his playing just sounds so haunting. He kind of blows Chuck away with how good he writes solos, but I would still say Chuck's probably on par with this guy. He's no James Murphy, but Andy is very good. And then he gets my goddamn favorite death metal drummer and thrash drummer ever, Gene Hoglan, the master, the atomic clock. And I think this is probably his best drum performance. I used to think that next album, Symbolic, but now I think it's this because it just sounds so goddamn tight and in the pocket. He never, ever shows a single weak point ever, or a sign of like slowing down like he does in Symbolic. He definitely slows down a lot of songs, but even on like slower moments, his drumming is just so relentless. And you also have Steve DiGiorgio again on bass, this time playing the fretless bass. I think, didn't he play fretless on Human as well? But he does a lot of really wacky shit on this album, that's for sure. He adds a very weird jazz feel to it with a lot of his bass playing. He even does a bass solo on the classic song Philosopher at the end. And because he has an all-star lineup, not only do they write a lot of really good songs that are both incredibly technical, progressive, but very condensed, but the performances are so good that they add their own flavors everywhere. And I do think that this album in many ways is their best, even though once again, just like Spiritual Healing, a lot of people somehow think this is one of the weaker ones because it's so technical and weird. But that's the brilliance of it, is that it's so tight and so technical and weird at the same time. There's no other death metal album that really sounds like this one. Now the production is weak and it's very, very, very distorted and like kind of messy, but I actually really like it for that because the music is so powerful that it doesn't even matter. It could have had even worse production. I don't give a shit. The album was just filled with favorites of mine. I used to not like the way it started because it starts like right off the bat heavy and crazy with Overreactive Imagination, but I absolutely adore that song now, especially the chorus where you have Gene doing some bizarre drumming. I absolutely love the song In Human Form, which has a great groove to it. Jealousy is very, very unique, very jazzy, very weird. Trapped in a Corner is a classic from the band. And then they have so many other great songs in the album, like the title track, Destiny, which has acoustic guitars. I believe the first song from the band to have acoustic guitars. And then of course the Philosopher, which is, I have to admit, probably the best song off the whole album. It had a music video for it that was also made fun of on Beavis and Butthead because there's some guy running at it in the forest, kind of like in the Jeremy music video, and they're like, whoa, it's Jeremy. However, I do have to say that there is one song that I never really loved. It's still a good song, but it could have been better. Nothing is Everything. The main chorus has a good melody to it, but it's just the guitars playing the melody for the most part, so it sounds a little annoying. But they could have made a better use of that. But the rest of the song is really nice. The whole rest of the album is really nice. Really spankingly progressive album that's really well done. Even though on Human, I was criticizing this whole era as it kind of degrading their own really good style, that style of death metal. But like, I also think that you can take the progressive style and the technical style and make it work. Because every song on this album is very, very good. Just chock full of great riffs and incredible performances. And they're able to execute all these progressive styles of like 4 to 3 minute songs with so many goddamn riffs in it that it's absolute mind-blowing masterpiece, really. That's what I love the most, when a band can take a progressive technical style, shove so many riffs and changes in a short amount of time, make it sound natural, give great performances, and have every riff that they shove into it be very good and catchy. And they accomplish all of that on this album. All of it. And it's a very incredible, defining, technical death metal album. I want to give it a 9.5.